Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan doesn't believe airstrikes will be enough to stop the Islamic State. Erdogan made the comments while visiting a Syrian refugee camp. The U.S.-led coalition launched a new round of airstrikes on Tuesday, but IS fighters still managed to make significant advances into the town of Kobani.
This problem cannot be solved via airstrikes without cooperating with those fighting on the ground.
Erdogan also said Turkey would respond to any threats made against soldiers guarding an ancient tomb in Syria that is considered part of Turkish territory. And for more on all the factors Turkey has to consider before getting its military involved, I'm joined by Bulent Aliriza. He is the founding director of the Turkey Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Welcome back to the show. So much going on right now. Turkey is in such a unique position geographically and historically. How much of this does it complicate what's happening right now in Kobani, not very far away at all?
Well, Kobani is literally on the Turkish-Syrian border, on the Syrian side, and people can actually watch the fighting from the Turkish side. Over 150,000 Kurds have already escaped the fighting in Kobani. Apparently, it's encircled by ISIS fighters, and Turkey has shown no indication so far of wanting to intervene, although it's going to be very heavily affected by the implications of what happens in Kobani.
Well, President Erdogan already warned that it will fall. Just last week, the parliament voted to use its military if needed. But what will it take for Turkey to move forward with perhaps military intervention or something on the ground?
Well, from the time that President Erdogan met President Obama at the NATO summit through last week, when he met Vice President Biden, and then the passage of the resolution, Turkey's been thinking about how best, according to its own national interests, that it can participate in this coalition. Now, it wants to participate in the coalition to fight not only ISIS, but also the PKK, which is, as you know, in the same camp as the PYD, which is fighting the Islamic fighters in Kobani, but also at a broader level to fight against Assad, because he says, as he said again today in his speech that you quoted from, that the reason that we have the problems in Syria is because of the survival of the Assad regime, and we need to think about how best to remove the Assad regime. And the problem is that the U.S. government has not focused on the Assad regime's ouster, even though it's committed to it. So there is a difference in perception and a divergence in interests between Washington and Ankara, which I think will come to the fore as this crisis worsens.
Well, and you know, Turkey is also a member of NATO, and NATO has said that they're already looking at possibilities should any fighting spill over into Turkey. So how much does that complicate matters? Because not every nation that's a member of this U.S.-led coalition is a member of NATO and vice versa.
Well, Turkey is in fact the only member of the Western coalition that was announced to fight ISIS by President Obama at the NATO summit, and also as a Muslim majority country, member of the regional alliance that was announced that also includes Saudi Arabia and the other Muslim countries of the region. Now, I don't think there's an immediate threat to Turkish territory per se, either by Assad forces or the ISIS forces or the PYD, which is busy fighting the Islamic fighters at the moment. But NATO's commitment underlines exactly as you said, the fact that Turkey is the only country in the region whose territory abuts what's going on, and which also happens to be part of NATO, which brings home to Washington and the other countries how Turkey is indeed tied to both countries, both regions. That's to say the Western alliance as well as the regional alliance. And frankly, that makes Turkey's situation more important, but also much more complicated.
So what happens if Kobani falls? The flags are already up.
Well, immediately, I think there's going to be additional refugees escaping to Turkey. Turkey already has over 1.5 million Syrian refugees. It's already cost Turkey $4.5 billion of unbudgeted funds. But beyond that, I think it has implications for Turkey's relations with the PKK. And at a broader level, I think it will intensify the negotiations between Washington and Ankara as to how best and how Turkey participates in this coalition.
Very complicated situation. Bulent Aliriza, we always, as always, appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.